I won an election in a landslide because people are not into the radical left, and the Democrat Party is. People didn't want to see men playing in women's sports. They didn't want to see transgender for everybody.
No, they did not. And the social contagion that is the trans ideology movement may be coming to an end. A new report reveals that young people are turning away from changing their genders. Analysis of data from the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression shows that the share of trans-identified students has effectively halved in just 2 years. This is a war the Anglo's been waging for years against this madness, and now we're finally seeing the data trend a little bit downward. Here to explain this cultural shift is Eric Kaufmann, professor of politics at the University of Buckingham. He's behind this analysis that went viral on X. Also with me is Simon Amaya Price. As a young teen, he socially transitioned to a female. During his first year of college, he desisted and went back to being male. Thank goodness. Eric, let's start with you. How big of a change is this really? What do you think is behind it?
Well, it is really quite dramatic. I mean, it's a halving of the share of American undergraduates who no longer identify or who identify as something other than male or female. So that kind of non-binary share has really been cut in half. Now, what's behind it is quite interesting. I mean, I looked at a number of explanations, religiosity, a shift to the right. None of those things actually seem to pan out, but one thing that did seem to matter was mental health has improved over the last 3 years, less anxiety, less depression, and I think that is one of the factors that explains the decline in identification with trans and also with queer sexualities.
Well, Simon, you said you were the first person in your high school to identify as trans, but by the time you graduate, 1/6 of your class identified as trans. I mean, is this cultural brainwashing, TikTok, Instagram? I mean, the cultural mainstreaming of it. You get special attention. What was it?
Well, look, I lived through a very unique moment in politics and culture. In my sex ed class, I learned about the gender unicorn along learning about STDs. Look, the thing is that you're getting it from everywhere. You're getting it from the schools, from the media, even from the churches and the synagogue. So it's no wonder that I, along with many of my classmates, got stuck in this.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it seems pretty obvious, Eric, that this was a push, whether you call it grooming or brainwashing or spreading of this madness. It was so obvious. I mean, when I was in high school in the 1980s, I didn't know anyone who was trans. And then suddenly the percentage increases by, in some cases, 2,000%. Something has to be responsible for that. It just didn't, people didn't just recognize this wonderful condition and suddenly, we were all supposed to be okay with it.
Yeah, I think that's right, Laura. I think this really is a social trend, like a fashion, that's accounting for most of it. Now, of course, progressives will say, well, this is because the stigma was lifted. The problem with that argument is if we look at the student data that I looked at, the FIRE data, over 50,000 sample sizes, the people who are self-censoring the most are conservatives, not liberals, not people who might be of a different gender. So I don't think the angle of social stigma is towards people coming out as a different gender, for example, and that's increased because of the Trump administration.
Well, I think just common sense is kind of reigning supreme here. Simon, you say you socially transitioned in high school. So what did that mean, and why didn't you decide to ultimately medically transition? Thank God you did not.
Yeah, so to clarify, I only socially transitioned in my first year of college, though my first year of college was when I was 16. The real reason that I did not medically transition is a combination of luck and some great decisions by my father. He really held the line and said no to my pediatrician who asked him, do you want a dead son or a living daughter? And he said to me, I'm not going to support this. I'm not going to give you financial assistance in transitioning. And I was lucky that a series of unfortunate events happened in my first year of college. Basically, I questioned affirmative action and was immediately ostracized. And all of a sudden, the social points I had gotten from being transgender disappeared overnight.
Wow. Oh, that is an interesting story. Your parents, and then you kind of saw the censorious left for what it was. Eric and Simon, we're going to stay on this. Thank you very much for your insights tonight.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.